Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Veda and this is The Simple Budget. Here on my channel, I show you how my family is using the zero-based budgeting method in order to get out of debt and simplify our financial life. If that sounds like content that you're interested in, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button and join our little crew here. And with that being said, let's get into today's video. All right, well, as of the time of this filming, it is Thursday, June 1st, and I am just absolutely blown away by how many of you have purchased from my shop. If you didn't know, or if you're just seeing this for the first time, I have an Etsy shop where I sell budgeting supplies, and up until today, everything was available via digital download. I didn't sell any physical products, but today was my physical product launch, and some of you have been purchasing from me, and I'm just so grateful. So thank you for your support, and even if you haven't purchased anything from me, you being here and watching my channel supports me as well, so thank you for that. Anyway, today is a fun one. I always like these the Budget With Me videos. This will give you a more broad overview of what our budget looks like, because if you didn't know, if you're relatively new to my channel, we only cash stuff for like sinking funds. We don't cash stuff for our bills and expenses. Just because for us, it doesn't make practical sense. So we only cash stuff for about half of our budget. So if you watch my cash stuffing videos, you're not really getting a full picture of what our budget looks like on a regular basis. And the whole point of this channel is to be transparent and accountable and show you how we're going about getting ourselves out of debt. So making sure that you have a monthly budget that you're sticking to is tantamount, one of those mounts to that being successful. And this has been working so far. And so today's just going to be kind of like a straightforward budget with me. I'm not going to get too involved in like explaining the process or anything like that, but I will just kind of go ahead and give you some pointers of things that have worked for us along the way, just because I think it's helpful if in every video I say something that is beneficial or helpful to you guys. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get you zoomed in here, and then we will kind of get into the nitty-gritty here. All right, so I have you guys all zoomed in, and I'm going to try my best to make sure that I'm keeping you in frame. I apologize for those of you who do not enjoy a slant. I am a slanter when I write. I don't know how to write like straight on. I'm not sure how people achieve that, but more power to you if you're one of those folks. So first up, I'm just gonna go ahead and address the, not elephant in the room, but just this right here. So every month, and this is just kind of good wisdom for anybody, in order to create a budget, you have to know how much money you're bringing in. Now, we are very fortunate that my husband is a salaried employee, so there's no guesswork. And so we know what to expect every single month from him. I'm an hourly wage earner, but I have a pretty standard set schedule. And so I am able to, based off of that, I can look at the calendar because I know what our pay periods are. And so I can look at the calendar and project what I'm going to be bringing in month to month. And so that makes it relatively easy for us to figure out what money we're going to be bringing in, because if you don't know what money you're bringing in, it's very difficult to kind of create a budget around that. For those of you who have like variable income, like more power to you creating a budget off of that. There are definitely some good YouTubers who do that. I know that Ariel from Ariel Plans shares a lot about her boyfriend's income, who is a server, and like how they're going about planning ahead for that. And then also another favorite of mine is I'm going to leave them linked below as well, by the way. You should absolutely go check out their channels. So Ariel Plans, she'll be linked below. And then BB Budgets, I think is the other, I think that's her name on here. Anyway, I'll link to her as well. She is also a server and her income varies. And so they are great resources if you're like, well, Veda, this is all well and good, but what do I do if I have a variable income? They're excellent resources for that. BB Budgets has been doing it for a little bit longer than Ariel Plans has. And, you know, it might be good to have both of them in your watch list, because I always think it's nice to kind of learn with somebody who is also still learning, because you kind of you pick up stuff that they're doing and trying out and working on and seeing if it can work for you. But then also it's helpful to watch somebody like BB Budgets, who's been doing it for a really long time, and get whatever wisdom she's acquired along the way. So I'll make sure to leave those two ladies linked for you below, so you can check out their channels and just kind of get a look at how to go about budgeting if this is new to you and you have a variable income. So anyway, the other thing that we're working with this month is our escrow check. So I'm sorry, I cannot say the word escrow. Those of you who are fans of Gilmore Girls are going to have to let me know. I'm going to see if I can insert the clip here that I think about every time I hear the word escrow now. It's a clip from the show. So if they have it, I'm going to, like, if I can find it, I'm going to include it. But the way he says it is just hilarious. He's like, I'm an escrow.
I'm in escrow.
Did you at least?
If you're not a Gilmore Girls fan, you're probably like, this girl's crazy. Anyway, so your escrow account is basically like a bank account that your mortgage company puts your, so you pay for, when you have a mortgage, you're paying for your house, obviously, you're paying the bank back for your house. But then also you're putting money, the bank puts money aside every month for your property taxes, because those are usually paid like either biannually or annually or something like that. So if there's money left over after they've paid the bill for your property taxes, then that money comes back to you. And so we had money come back to us this month. And so that's why that is going to be included in our month budget, because we've gotten the check for the month of June. So that will be included in the income, because it is income technically, and we have to figure out how we're going to incorporate that into our budget here. So I will just go ahead and get stuck in here. So my husband's pay every single month never ever changes, and well, I mean, it changes if he has a magic month, and so he'll get an extra pay. But by and large, this is what his pay looks like every single month. So it's are you gonna cooperate? There we go. $7,686.90. And I do count the change because we budget the change. And then my pay is projected to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,530. And then our escrow check was $3,270.08. And so let me grab, I think I've got it. So I'll add this up really quickly. Okay, so it's $12,486.98. So that's what our that's the basis of our income here. That's the money that we will be bringing in this month that we can figure out what to do with. Now, for those of you who may be new to my channel and haven't seen it, my husband and I are in the process of paying down a pretty significant amount of debt. I will go ahead and leave my debt confession linked for you. But then I'll also leave my debt confession update. So we did a quarter one. I filmed my debt confession and posted it in January of this year. And then I did a quarter one update at the end of March. And so I will make sure to include both of those inserted so that you can watch them just in case you're interested in that. And so generally speaking, when we're budgeting, we figure out obviously what our income is going to be first, and then we go straight into the life necessities. So for us, now, if we were in dire straits and needed to like really trim down, even this list would be significantly reduced. But because we are very comfortable with, the process that we have going and how efficient we've been at paying down our debt and things, this is what this list looks like. But first, we always start off with bills and expenses. So these are things that somebody is going to come after you if you do not pay this thing. And so we'll just get right into it. The mortgage is $2,559.88. And then next up is our water bill, which is a variable expense, but you gotta pay your water bill if you don't want it shut off. And so we figure we average about this much a month. It's less in the winter and more in the summer when we're using our sprinkler, but it is $130. And then any overage that we have from month to month just sits in our account as a buffer to be used whenever we maybe go over our projected amount on a monthly basis. Life insurance never changes for us. It's $42.06, and this is why I don't just toss the change, because there's change in our budget. Our car insurance was $107.38 this month. This one fluctuates slightly from month to month. Jiu-jitsu, my husband and son both train, and the bill for them is $187.38. When I mentioned earlier that if we were in dire straits, some of this would be cut down, jiu-jitsu would obviously be the first to go. Internet is always the same. It's $55.58. Our phone bill, we earmark like $110 for it. I'm not sure exactly what that will be, but my husband is the one who tracks all of the bills and things. I take care of just the cash envelopes. He tracks everything else that is not a cash envelope. Electric is another one that varies, and so we just put $200 at it a month. That way, when we're using the AC in these very warm Texas summers, we've got the money kind of sitting there that we've been buffering, the rest of the year. Groceries is $1,300. And then Target, which are groceries that I buy from Target specifically, gets $400. The reason I get asked this question all the time, so I'm totally fine answering it for you guys. The reason why we split up our grocery budget like this is because I use the Target Red Card, and that is something that you cannot pay cash for, obviously. It's the debit card. We have the debit card. I don't have the credit card. And so I get 5% off of every purchase when I use this. Groceries I cash pull for, and so that's why this money is budgeted separately. So anything I purchase from Target that's a grocery item from Target comes from this budget, and then any other groceries comes from this budget. Our gas, we earmarked $150 for this month. We kind of go back and forth between $130 and $150 on this one. See, I'm like coming to the end of my frame here. I'll just slide my little plant out of the way. Yeah, we go back and forth between $130 and $150. With summer gas price increases, that's why we're budgeting $150 toward it. But yeah, so that's why that one is $150 this month. And then household items. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I think we changed this. We did. So I have cut down what we put toward household and toiletries for the last like 2 months or so. And we found this past month that really came back to bite us in the rear. We went over a couple bucks like in each of these categories. And so we decided to take some of the escrow money, kind of help beef up these envelopes, household and toiletries specifically, so that we can kind of get back to a regular funding schedule for them. But for the time being, they're getting a little bit more this month. So household is getting $120 and toiletries is getting $110. And that was just, again, to kind of help beef them up a little bit, because I was not allocating enough money toward them the last couple of months, and we had a lot of household good needs. So our subscriptions is $52.75 every month. That never changes. Pest control, we pay quarterly, but every month we put $40 toward it. And then this is a new one for us. We rejoined Amazon Prime, mostly for me to be able to purchase supplies and shipping needs and things like that, or shipping goods rather, for my shop, my Etsy shop. But then also just, Prime is just one of those useful things. Okay, that was my husband, sorry. Prime is just one of those useful things that, is worth the expense. So I think what we did was, I'm not sure where the Prime money came from. Okay, I just had a child interrupt me. So we already paid for the Prime subscription for the year. And we might have also pulled that from escrow. I'm not 100% sure how we finagled that, but, oh, wait. Okay, I was interrupted again. We paid for Prime actually from my very first YouTube paycheck, which I didn't film like a stuffing for that one just because there were like logistical needs that we had to take care of first in order to do that. But thank you all for tuning in and watching the ads, because for those of you who don't know, if you skip the ad, I don't get the ad revenue for that. Don't feel guilty if you do. I'm not asking you to watch the ads for me. I'm just saying that I get paid for every ad you don't skip and you actually watch all the way through. And so using that paycheck, we were able to fund Amazon Prime for the year. And now moving forward, we're going to fund it every month so that when the membership renews next year, we have the money set aside for that, which is great. So thank you for supporting my channel, for supporting me, and in a small way, supporting my family. So I appreciate that. Moving forward, we will be filming my Etsy and YouTube paychecks, but for the last couple of months, we just haven't done it because that's largely how I've been prepping and saving for my physical product launch in my shop. So there hasn't been anything to show you that I've been stuffing because I've just been keeping it in the bank and spending from it in order to get the supplies that I need for my shop. So anyways, next up is taxes. This is just the taxes for our family. So this is the money that we put aside every single month to pay the guy who does our taxes for us every year. HOA is getting $20 this month. This will go down once we pay it next year to, I think it's like $10 a month, but we couldn't start cash stuffing for this like right away. And when we did start, we had basically like 6 months left to like cash stuff for it. So that's why it's like doubled what we will be putting in it next year. Same with union dues. This one will not be as much next year, but my husband had largely forgotten about this expense. And so, because this is something related to his job. And so we are now stuffing it extra to prep for when we actually have to pay this. But then once it's paid, the cost of it will go down monthly. And then finally in this category is the finance coach, and that's getting $10 this month, right? Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add all of this up. So the total from this section is $5,667.03. And so then actually from here, so for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Dave Ramsey baby steps, just briefly, because this is what my husband and I are following-ish in order to pay off our debt. The idea is that, you cut everything out of your life, which we are not doing, admittedly. Obviously, you can tell by my budget sheet. And then, you take whatever money you have left over after you have your basic necessities met, and all of that extra money goes towards debt. And so we're sort of doing that in that we are funding our entire budget as we would like to see it moving forward, even after we pay off our debt. So we fund the entire budget, and then we take whatever money is left over from that and put it toward our debt. So instead of going straight from bills and expenses over to debt, I actually go from bills and expenses over to sinking funds, because our thinking is job security is pretty stable, and we want to make sure that what we are disciplining ourselves to do is create a functional system for us for while we're paying down our debt, but then also even after our debt is paid down, establishing these good habits, making sure that we stay in budget, making sure that we do the due diligence of taking care of our finances every single month. And so that's what this more is for us. But we do put all of our extra money after all of this is said and done toward debt, which you will see in a little bit. So let's just jump in. Frame check. We'll jump right in. So car maintenance, I put car MNT here. This is car maintenance and tags. So we just put like our car registration in with our car maintenance fund, because the tags would be $7 a month, and that would just be like such a silly thing to put in an envelope to me when we've got a car maintenance envelope. So this one gets $57 a month. Home maintenance gets $50 a month. Medical typically gets like 70 or 75, but we did some rejigging of things, and you'll see why a little bit later. And so I just knocked it down to 50 this month. Clothes is getting $230 this month. And the reason for that is actually because with this escrow money, so every now and then for my husband's job, he has to dress a little fancy. He wears like a suit and tie and stuff. And so he had really great dress shoes, and they bit the bullet. And one of the things that we have learned is quality matters. And so what we did was we earmarked some of this escrow money to go toward clothes. And so part of the money that he bought his new shoes with is coming from clothes, and part of it is coming from his own personal spending, because shoes are one of those life necessities, especially a work-related shoe. And so he and I kind of play with the lines of like what the clothing budget funds. If I want new clothes, especially if it's something that I don't need, I fund it from my own envelope, unless it's something like, to me, like bras, underwear, and socks. Those are life necessities that you just have to replenish every now and then. But something like a new shirt or a new dress, which I most certainly don't need, comes from my own personal spending. And because these shoes were on the pricey side, we decided to earmark a little bit more money toward clothing, and then my husband pulled the rest of it from his own personal spending. So that's how we kind of handled this one. Ordinarily, clothes would not get $230 in a month, but that's how we did it. Home is up next. This is just like home decor, and it's getting $10 this month. Haircuts is getting $80. This is for everybody's haircut in my family but mine. So it needs pretty decent funding, especially because my husband gets his haircut once a month. So that's expensive. His is my husband's personal spending. That gets $50. Hers is a combination of my personal spending, my haircut, and then I get a lash lift every month, or every 6 weeks rather. And somebody asked me in the comments, and I did not forget to explain what a lash lift is. So a lash lift is basically a perm for your eyelashes. My eyelashes have decent length and they stick straight down, even if I curl them with like an eyelash curler or something. And so this is just a little like beauty treatment that I get for myself every 6 weeks. And it comes from this spending envelope. So, I mean, you can Google it, but there are two different methods that they use. They will essentially curl your lash or glue your lashes around a little rod, and then they apply the curling solution to it, and that's what makes your eyelashes stay curled for up to 6 weeks. So I do it. I quite like it. And it is, if you're new to my channel, it is the subject of much, let's say, not disdain, but definitely controversy. If you're in that much debt, why are you getting a lash lift? Because I want to. So anyway, that's like my little beauty treatment to myself every month or every 6 weeks. So that's what is funded from my envelope. It's my personal spending, my haircut, and then my lash lift. Dine Out is up next, and it's getting $60 this month. Miscellaneous will be getting $10. Work food is getting $30, and this is just like if I pick up a coffee during a shift or my husband has like a lunch with coworkers, that sort of thing. Dates will be getting $15. Family fun is another one that we kind of decided to beef up a little bit with escrow since summer is coming. And so we gave that $110. Our home project is getting $200 this month. And for those of you who might be new, this is money that we're earmarking for certain house projects that we want to get done before we finish paying off our debt. So currently we are saving for ceiling fans for my husband's office and my kids' bedrooms because they are just efficient at help keeping you cool. Next up is vacation, and it's getting $240. And I actually think this is also, we put a little bit extra toward it with the escrow check because we were like, well, let's have most of this is going toward debt, guys, but let's have a little bit of fun with it, you know? Gifts is another one that's probably going to raise an eyebrow here. So it's getting $585 this month. But let me explain. And my husband and I went back and forth on whether or not to even include this in the video because giving and gifts and generosity are things that you just kind of do privately. But I share my budget with you guys. So hiding it is a little wonky because the numbers wouldn't add up or whatever. Anyway, long story short, for those of you who may have missed it in one of my videos a couple weeks ago, our neighbor's son had to have a somewhat emergency surgery he's 7 years old, to replace the pacemaker on his heart and also do a couple other things while they were in there. This was an incredibly invasive version of this because they actually had to crack his chest open this time. I think they did not have to do that when they installed the first pacemaker. And as you can imagine with something like that, the medical bills are astronomical. Now they do have insurance, but it just doesn't cover everything. Like she was over here, the mother was over here yesterday, and she mentioned that the 13 seconds that they were in the emergency room, they got a $300 bill for that. And so I did a little bit of fundraising personally on the side for her. And then we decided to contribute $500 to the fundraising that we were doing so that we can kind of help them also, because in our way of thinking, this is just being part of a community. So anyway, we would not ordinarily be putting $585 in gifts, but we figure that's probably a pretty good reason to help somebody out who, has some pretty hefty medical bills. So that is why this is so high this month, and it will return back to its regularly scheduled funding next month. Partay is up next. This is money that we save for our birthday parties and just like little hosting things and so on and so forth. So that's what this is for. We give it $35 a month. Back to school is another one that's getting a little bit more than usual because my husband and I realized very quickly this past school year that we were not putting enough money toward this envelope. This doesn't just fund back to school. It's not just like my kids' school supplies. It's like their yearbooks, and if their teacher's like, hey, we're having a party, can each parent chip in $3? That sort of thing. And so we want to make sure that we're funding this a little bit more diligently in the next school year. And so to start, because we had this escrow money, we threw a little bit of extra cash at back to school. Valentine's gets $5 a month. That doesn't change. And same with Easter, gets $7 a month. Never changes. Thanksgiving gets $15 a month. This one goes back and forth between 15 and 20, but I think we're okay with 15. Christmas is getting $130 this month. And then our zoo membership gets $16 a month. I know that's an odd number, but that's literally just the cost of it divided by 12 months. So it just is like that. I know that some of my numbers are so funky for some of you guys, but sometimes it just is that way. And then the newest envelope for us is the pool. So we joined the local public pool for the summertime because my kids love swimming. And we didn't get a chance to do that last summer. And so because we got this escrow money, we were like, okay, let's pay the pool bill. Let's get a membership there. And then we'll just fund it going forward every single month to make sure that we've got the money earmarked for it for next year. So that's where this came from. So let me go ahead and just add this up really quickly, and then we'll get our total here. Okay, so the total for this section is $2,287. So what I'm gonna do is subtract these two totals from our starting number to figure out what we're doing up here with our debt this month. So $12,486.98 minus $5,667.03 for our bills, and then $2,287 for our sinking funds, and that leaves us with $4,322.95. Now, let me make sure. Yeah, I'm in frame. Okay. So our car payment is $310.84 every single month. And that is actually, this is our smallest balance, but our Visa had our largest balance, like of all of our debt to start with. It was like $25,000 or something like that. And so after we paid off our smallest credit card, because that's part of the Dave Ramsey baby steps. So you list all of your debts from smallest balance to largest balance, and then you attack your first balance. Once you pay that off, you put all of that money that you were putting at the smallest credit card toward the next smallest credit card. In that vein, we would have been putting all of our extra money toward the car because we paid off our smallest balance credit card in March. But what we decided to do was to throw all of our extra money at the Visa to get it under $20,000 because, I mean, it needed to. And so actually this month, because of this escrow check, we are going to be able to get it under $20,000. And then whatever is remaining from that, we will put toward our car. So our Visa is getting $3,122.15. Okay, I was interrupted by a child again. So what I was saying was, of the remaining $4,532.95, we will be putting $3,122.15 toward our Visa. The reason why the number looks like this is just because we had to figure out how much was going to get it under $20,000 plus the interest. So that's why this number looks so funky. But there's always a rhyme and a reason for my weird numbers, guys, I promise. And so we will just go ahead and subtract. So $4,532.95 minus $3,122.15. And so that means that we will be able to put $1,410.80 onto our car, which is also really fantastic because our car payment, we're toward the end of our car what is that? Loan. Geez Louise. We're on the back end of our car loan. I know I could not find the word loan.
That was a struggle.
I know. English is really hard. Yeah, so we're on the back half of our car loan where most of your money is actually going toward principal and not toward interest. So this will actually make a pretty significant dent in our remaining balance, which is awesome. So that is the plan. So, I mean, I don't really need to add those two things up. 3122.15 plus 1410.80. So $4,532.95. And then all three of these numbers should add up to the, what is this? My gosh, total income. Wow. I'm really on the struggle bus. Okay. So 5667.03 plus 4532.95 plus 2287 equals $12,486.98. And so this is what zero-based budgeting looks like. I don't even know if I explained that, and I know that I didn't explain that in the beginning, but that's what this is. This is a zero-based budget. And what that means is you are left with $0 essentially. Like from a logical and like from a practical standpoint, you still have the money sitting in your bank account or in your envelopes or however you choose to do it. But you are assigning every single dollar a job every single month so that when Christmas rolls around, you've got the money sitting there waiting for you to buy all the gifts that you want or all the food or whatever it is, a combination of both if you're anything like me. And so that's what this is. This income, all of it is working for us. In some capacity, we are making it work for us, whether it's immediately by paying our mortgage or if it's long-term by taking care of like gifts or that's not even a good one, like our zoo, which the membership is going to renew next February. But every single month we give it $16 because we know that this is going to come due at some point and we're going to have to pay it. And so why not earmark money toward it every single month so that you can do just that? And this is the most comprehensive and solid budgeting system I have ever used. My husband and I had to be really labor intensive with it in the very beginning when we started doing this, like in December and January, and we had to like constantly check and track and all of that kind of stuff. But now we're in a really good rhythm and it's only June. We have not been doing this long and it's been incredibly successful for us in terms of achieving our debt pay down goals and just making sure that all of our money is working for us and that we've got money there waiting for us when we need it. I cannot even begin to explain to you guys how freeing that is. So if you have never done it before, just try. Sit down, look at your last, 3 months of expenses, write down everything you spend money on, figure out what you can cut out that's maybe unnecessary spending, and then create a budget for yourself and figure out if you can stick to it and make sure that you understand that there are going to be little hiccups along the way and you're going to kind of figure out how to ebb and flow with it as you go. But the most freedom that you can give to yourself is by starting off with financial freedom. If you're not beholden to a credit card company or, a mortgage company or whatever, and your money can just work for you and for your family, that's the most free you'll ever be. And now I will step down off of my soapbox. I hope you guys found this helpful or interesting or insightful or some combination of all of the above. Thank you, as always, for tuning into my videos. I so love the faces that I see on a regular basis, those of you who make comments regularly and always say such lovely things. I really, really appreciate it. So thank you. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I would love it if you joined our little crew. I know I say that in the beginning of the video, but I really mean it. I would love it if you joined our little crew here. So on Monday will not be a typical cash stuffing. So the way that the weeks kind of worked out, I'm just giving you guys a little bit of like what to expect next week. So next week, I will not have my Monday cash stuffing. It's going to be my bill condensing from the end of May. Just because the way the weeks worked out in June, we just decided to do our first cash pool on June 9th. Now you guys won't see that until the following Monday, the 12th. But it will be up. And in the meantime, I do have a little giveaway going on my last video, which I will link now. So do go check that out. And otherwise, I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.